Greetings. I see you've made your way past enemy lines to the dark outpost. Welcome, Patriots. I'm David Zublik, your host on this excursion to the darkest outposts of the human mind and beyond. Thank you for being with us once again. We appreciate it. We have a great show coming up for you today. Normally in the first hour to hour and a half of the program on Thursdays, Jessie Zaboter of Illuminate the Darkness at illuminatethedarkness.com joins us. However, due to a conflict in her schedule this week, she's in high demand these days. She's doing a lot of speaking engagements. She's been participating in a lot of incredible things and helping a lot of really good people. And as a result of that, it's getting to the point where it's a little bit difficult to pin her down for a live show. But hopefully she'll be back with us again next week. I know that she has some other dates in which she's not going to be able to make it. I will try to be in touch with her in between shows to see if perhaps we can even pre-record a conversation for a later broadcast or something along that line. But I'm sorry, she's not going to be with us today. Hopefully she will be back next week. So those of you who tune in on Thursdays to see Jessie, I miss her just as much as you do. Hopefully she'll be back next week. We'll see. Coming up in the second hour of the program today, Peter Kirby, author of the book Chemtrails Exposed, The New Manhattan Project, is going to continue his foray into the agenda behind geoengineering, weather modification, and such. Good conversations we've been having with Peter over these many weeks, and we are continuing that conversation today. And then in the final hour of the program, we have brought back, or will be bringing back, Ginny Silcox. Now, she was with us yesterday, and she's normally with us every Wednesday to cover different topics from a scientific perspective on things that are of concern to those of us who are conspiracy realists, such as directed energy weapons, mind control. Well, now we're getting into 5G, and she started an excellent presentation about 5G yesterday, and we just ran out of time. We were backed up against the clock because we had to bring in another guest, and I felt really bad having to cut her short. And rather than force you folks who really love Ginny, we've had a lot of positive responses to her, rather than forcing you folks to wait until next week, Wednesday, I asked her to come back today in the final hour of the program to continue her presentation from yesterday because she has some more stuff she wants to wrap up about that. So Ginny will be with us in the final hour of the program to continue her conversation on 5G. So all of that is what's coming up today, and it's pretty exciting. Before we do any of that, let's do as we do each and every day on this broadcast and take just a few moments, if we could, to honor our nation and its flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Now, it's halfway through the summer already, right? Now, I'm one of these weirdos, and I do say weirdos because I know that the calendar says that summer starts on June 21st and ends on September the 21st. But I'm like probably some of you folks out there who think that Summer starts with Memorial Day. The midway point to me for summer, even though it is only a mere few weeks after Memorial Day, is Independence Day, the 4th of July. That's the midway point to me. And then Labor Day, of course, is the end point of summer for me. You know, the kids end up going back to school, sometimes even before Labor Day now, but that sort of thing. Well, anyway, we're halfway through the summer right now, no matter how you look at it, okay? How are you looking at the beach, if you've been to the beach? I mean, we wear less clothes during the summer. More of our body is visible. And for those of us who pack on the pounds during the rest of the year, we want to look as good as we possibly can when summer gets here. Well, now it's half over. Were you able to keep that New Year's resolution to keep the weight off? Probably not, if you're like most of us, myself included, okay? If you've tried losing weight and you have not had success, well, here's some good news. You can rest easy because you know what? It's not your fault. Struggling with weight has nothing whatsoever to do with working out more. I work out every day. I still had weight problems. You can change your diet. That helps to a certain extent. You can get more sleep. Well, that's something that all of us should try to do. I try to get as much sleep as I possibly can every night. That's not always possible since I'm doing a lot of research for this program. What weight loss has to do with, or the gaining of weight, is metabolism, which is dictated by, unfortunately, genetics. There are some people that just they have a difficult time, and it's largely outside of people's control. Now, the good news is that there's a way to circumvent all of this, and it's similar to what the Hollywood elites use to get in shape for their upcoming roles so quickly. Now, I'm not talking about adrenochrome here, folks. I know that's a lot of what the Hollywood elite do to continue to look younger, but not everybody's involved in that. Really, they're not. Don't make it out to be. I try not to make it appear that everyone is involved. There's a ton, but not everybody. Some people just have the key to looking good, and they age gracefully. Okay? And there's absolutely no work required on your part for this to work for you either. Results are nearly instantaneous. No hour-long exercises or changes to your diet are required to truly melt the fat. That's a fact. You can do. Now, you should do all these things. Diet well, eat healthy, exercise, yes. But you don't need to do that. And sometimes you can do all of it. And it's just not going to take the pounds off. I want to show you a product here. This is really cool. It's called Keto Elevate. I use this product. It's from a great company called BioTrust. Now, I've noticed that my body fat, since I've been taking this, has gone down. I've specifically noticed that most of the fat loss is right around where I want it to be, around my waist and stomach. It's the easiest, quickest path to weight loss that I have ever experienced. All right? Now, Keto Elevate works similar to how the traditional keto diet works. The difference lies in how the two of them approach weight loss. While the traditional keto diet requires you to fight hunger all day and cut out your favorite foods, especially those with carbohydrates in them, this keto powder requires none of that, none of it. Now, you can learn more about this by going to this website, ketowithdavid.com. That's ketowithdavid.com. Furthermore, you're going to get a 51% discount of your first bag if you order within the next 24 hours, and you're going to get a 60-day money-back guarantee. All right? Check it out. Go to ketowithdavid.com today. ketowithdavid.com. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right. We got a bunch of news items I want to bring to your attention, and we're going to do that. Reminder about a couple of things. these are things I keep forgetting to tell you. This coming Saturday night, we're going to have a special broadcast from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Open line conversation. Just you and me. I'm going to have some news items to toss out, some things that we don't have an opportunity to get to on the program during the week because we have a lot of great guests on the show, but there's also a lot of news breaking constantly that we just don't have the time to get to. We're going to do that on Saturday night. Your telephone calls, you'll have an opportunity to participate. If you participate, if you're there and you show up, we might just do this on a regular basis. I don't know if it'll be every week. I don't know if it'll be every couple of weeks, once a month or whatever. But I want to have a show every once in a while where you and I just talk about anything that's on your mind. No limits, okay? So we're going to do that for the first time this Saturday night. Now, whether or not we continue this is going to be dependent upon your participation. I mean, yeah, you can tune in and sit back and just watch the show, but it'll be more fun if you participate. So get up the nerve, give us a call on Saturday night, 9 p.m. to midnight. All you got to do to watch the show, it'll be on Rumble live, and it'll be posted to darkoutpost.tv for premium members afterwards. But if you want to watch it live, you'll go to Rumble. You can also watch it directly from our website, darkoutpost.com. darkoutpost.com. Now, speaking of Rumble, I want to get to this. Those of you who watch the live show, you know we do the show Monday to Friday live from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Eastern most days. Sometimes we start an hour early or go an hour late. I don't think we've ever gone later, but we have started earlier to accommodate a guest who maybe we really want to get on. We did that for Jessie a few times, and we'll continue to do that for her because I really want to have her on the show. Today, unfortunately, would not have made any difference. She couldn't be here. Nonetheless, if you watch the show on Rumble and you have a smartphone, you might want to consider downloading the Rumble app. And I'm not being paid to tell you this. This is just something I discovered. It's kind of cool. The Rumble app, okay? Put it on your phone. Then, if you have Chromecast, I believe if you have maybe Fire Stick, I'm not sure, but I know Chromecast for sure. But one of those devices on your smart TV that enables you to stream things from your phone to your television set, you know, like if you have Netflix and all they all have Chromecast, Fire Stick. There's all kinds of ways to access it. Roku, you know, whatever. Because we're on Roku with our premium channel. We're also on Web TV, and we're on a bunch of different things. And there's actually an app for Dark Outpost that you can download if you're a Dark Outpost subscription member. But even if you're not, you just watch the live show, download the Rumble app to your phone. And if you have Chromecast or one of those streaming devices, you should be able to stream the show directly to your television set. So you won't have to watch it from your computer if you don't want to. You can watch it in the comfort of your living room if you want. And well, I just highly recommend it might be something you might want to do. And I wanted to bring that up for the last few days here, and I just haven't had an opportunity to do that. So please download the Rumble app to your smartphone, iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. And you can stream the show right to your television set. I think that's kind of cool. All right. So we got that. Told you about Saturday night. So now let's go to some interesting news items and get those taken care of for those of you who are of the mind that you want to know just what the hell is going on in this country. All right, folks, this is interesting. We've been following the Seth Rich story for years since the man was murdered. And yesterday, if you watched the show, we had Mel Kay on. She was in the final hour of the broadcast. If you missed it, too bad, because even though the first hour of the program is usually archived on Rumble and BitChute for everyone to watch, you got to be a Dark Outpost Inner Circle member to catch some of these great interviews that you're just not going to get anyplace else. And Mel Kay is going to make it a habit to be part of this broadcast, and we're very honored to have her doing that, and we really appreciate it. But she was on the last hour of the show yesterday, And we talked about Seth Rich a little bit. Story that I haven't really covered lately because there's been just so much COVID news and everything else going on. But the FBI, and this is from the Gateway Pundit, finally released thousands of pages of documents about this guy, the murdered Seth Rich, the DNC operative. But what's interesting about it, this was after denying for years that they even had anything on the guy. Oh, nothing to see here, folks. We don't have any documents on Seth Rich. There's nothing here to see. And now all of a sudden, not only do they have it, but they release it. And in Stasi fashion, right? In the dead of night. They don't even tell anybody about it, right? The documents were posted on the FBI vault. So you go to vault.fbi.gov/Seth-Rich. Okay? And all the documentation that they have about Seth Rich is released there. Okay. Now there's a guy, an attorney by the name of Ty Clevenger, who has requested this information from the FBI. The FBI releases everything they got on Seth Rich, or, excuse me, what they want to give us. They don't even tell Clevenger about it. They don't even have the wherewithal to let this attorney who's been requesting these documents for the longest time, they don't even tell him that they're releasing this stuff. Here's a background, according to the Gateway Pundit. A great job by, once again, Jim Hoft and company there. Quote, for years we reported on the murder of Seth Rich in Washington, D.C. before the 2016 presidential election. For 4 years, the FBI lied and said they had nothing on Seth Rich. But then in December 2020, the deep state FBI admitted they have 20,000 pages and a laptop all related to Seth Rich. The deep state FBI liars, and this is the Gateway Pundit, I believe this is Jim Hoft? Yeah, Jim Hoft wrote this. The deep state FBI liars finally brought the Seth Rich case out of the closet. The story started with a release of emails by WikiLeaks related to the DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta. Within days, in June of 2016, Ellen Nakashima, a deep state favorite from the Washington Post, released a report that the Democrat National Committee had been hacked by Russia. The firm that validated this was CrowdStrike, and its president, Sean Henry, confirmed the claims. In December of 2016, Ms. Nakashima followed up her reporting with the outlandish claim that the CIA had determined that Russia hacked the DNC because Russia wanted Trump to win the election. Nakashima also reported that the intel community had determined that Russia also sent the emails to WikiLeaks. This position was reinforced by the Mueller gang and their efforts to have President Trump removed from office. WikiLeaks released DNC emails related to John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, in the months before the 2016 presidential election, which showed massive corruption combined with an elitist attitude from the members of the Hillary Clinton team, all willing to do whatever it took to win an election. On March 8th, 2020, and before the June 16th, 2019, we presented, meaning the Gateway Pundit, arguments against the Mueller gang's assertion that the DNC was hacked by Russians. Cyber expert Yakov Applebaum posted an incredible report with information basically proving that the DNC was not hacked by the Russians. Then, after years of being hidden by corrupt, lying Representative Adam Schiff in Congress, A number of testimonies related to the Russia collusion sham were unveiled after Schiff received pressure from Richard Grenell, the acting director of National Intelligence, to release the transcripts. One transcript was from CrowdStrike's Sean Henry, who stated under oath that CrowdStrike had no evidence that Russia even exfiltrated the emails from the DNC. The whole Russia stole the DNC emails and sent them to WikiLeaks story was a fraud. Okay? So the entire thing was a sham, folks, a huge sham. Many people, getting back to Jim Hoft, many people suspected that in 2016, a young man working for the DNC by the name of Seth Rich copied emails from the DNC and shared them with WikiLeaks. Mr. Rich was murdered in Washington, D.C. in July of 2016, and it was labeled a robbery, but his wallet, his phone, and his watch were found on his person when the police arrived at the scene. There were numerous oddities surrounding his death. The Mueller gang never looked into the Seth Rich matter, never interviewed Julian Assange from WikiLeaks to determine who provided Assange the DNC emails, which were reportedly the cause of the Russia collusion sham. We know this based on his 1,000 pages of reports where this is never mentioned. We, meaning the Gateway Pundit, reported in mid-February 2020 how attorney Ty Clevenger, who represents a client who is being sued for his comments about Seth Rich, reported to the courts that despite numerous assurances from the FBI that they had no information related to Rich, emails related to Seth Rich were identified and provided to Judicial Watch. It looked like the FBI was lying to Clevenger all along. In December, the FBI admitted they had thousands of pages of documents on Seth Rich. The documents were highly redacted when they were turned over to attorney Ty Clevenger. So there you have it, okay? The FBI finally admits, right, that they've got these documents. They post them on their website, vault.fbi.gov/Seth-Rich. If you want to see them, that's where you have to go. This is the same FBI that said they didn't have Hunter Biden's laptop, and most recently just admitted that they do. And that's got to be filled with a lot of stuff, right? The dealings with Ukraine, the Chi-Coms, child pornography. That's one of the reasons why they're going after Rudy Giuliani, because he knows what's on that laptop, right? He knows what's on that laptop, and he has become a target. And he says there's child pornography, among many other things. We know that there's videos of Seth Rich engaging in sexual activities with perhaps underage girls, right? There are photographs of underage of little girls on there. There is purportedly a video and or photographs of Hunter Biden having sex with perhaps Malia Obama, Sasha Obama, perhaps both. This is incredible, folks. It's all out there. Now, some of this stuff is part of the super bundle that we make available to you when you become a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle at darkoutpost.tv. Some of this documentation is in that bundle if you want to see it. We don't have time to go into it today, but if you want to see some of this stuff, that's where you get it, by signing up for darkoutpost.tv and getting the super bundle. But this is it, man. I mean, this is the FBI is a very corrupt law enforcement organization, has been since the days of J. Edgar Hoover, right? They go after people. They have targets. They have personal. They're not the law enforcement agency that that was portrayed by Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. in the old 1960s and 70s television series, The FBI, or for that matter, the new reincarnation of the FBI that I think is on television right now, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're not. They're creepy. And Mueller, he's about as corrupt as he didn't even know this whole Russian collusion. He was not even in charge of that thing, even though they said he was. He had no idea what they were doing there. No idea whatsoever. The guy is so far out of it. But this is a very corrupt organization. And so finally, this information about Seth Rich is released. And if you want to see it again, vault.fbi.gov/Seth-Rich. So there you go. All right, let's take a look at some other stories that are taking place in the news right now. BLM leader accused of molesting multiple children, given job on the school board. Oh, of course. Of course. Come on, no surprise there, right? The guy's name is Tay Anderson. Currently under investigation for sex abuse, rape, and harassment of multiple people, including 62 children, has been rehired by a local Denver school. Tay Anderson denies the allegations and blamed a racist web hacker for fabricating the allegations. After temporarily stepping down from his post at the school, Anderson has now resumed his duties on the school board while the investigation into his criminal behavior continues. He declared, "I am returning to my full duties as a duly elected member of the Denver School Board. This is effective immediately." CBS 4 reports the Denver School Board director, he's the school board director. He's not just on the board. He's the school board director. Tay Anderson announced Wednesday his plan to resume the full duties of the position after allegations of sexual assault were leveled against him. Anderson says the investigation into his conduct has dragged well past the timeline that was agreed to, and no credible evidence has emerged. Anderson said he was told the investigation would be completed in 30 days, but then it was extended an additional 30 days. He says, "I'm now told that the investigation will not be completed for at least another 4 or 5 weeks, leading us to mid-August." Anderson said the investigation has drifted into vastly new areas, including a period of time when I was not even an adult, an employee of DPS, or an elected member of the DPS board. That's the Denver Public Schools. He said, "Although I remain committed to engaging in a transparent and fair process, I can no longer wait for this process to conclude to initiate my return to serving the families of the Denver Public Schools. No credible evidence has emerged to support any allegations of sexual misconduct by me. I have not been arrested, charged, or even contacted by any law enforcement agency regarding any of these false claims against me." Well, he's a member of BLM. That organization is about as corrupt as they come. Even if the original plan for BLM was supposed to have been something good, which I don't think it was, but even if we give them that, okay, it has become a corrupt organization, and if this guy is a part of it, he's already got 2 strikes against him. And if he did anything to hurt any innocent children, I hope he gets the book thrown at him, Now, here's a big story. You're going to love this one, folks. We know about the corrupt Cuomos, don't we? We have the Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York. We were asking Mel K about that yesterday in the broadcast. Mel K lives in New York. She wants eventually to move to, I think she said she wants to move to Florida. Well, me too. And eventually we're going to have I don't know if I'm going to stay there year round, but we're going to have a place there. I'm working on that right now. But nonetheless, we know how corrupt the Cuomos are. Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, who sent thousands of innocent seniors to their deaths in nursing homes with COVID. And now his brother, Chris Cuomo, who's a real piece of work, may be involved in a child pedophile ring. Did you hear about that? Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, let me tell you what we got here. New evidence has emerged that connects deceased pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein to CNN host Chris Cuomo, according to reports. A newly discovered little black book of VIP contacts belonging to Epstein contains the contact details of Cuomo's wife, Christina Grievin Cuomo. Epstein's newly discovered 1997 celebrity address book was obtained by Business Insider on Tuesday. The book connects dozens of new names to Epstein while tracing previously known relationships back to the 1990s. Business Insider says one of the new names belongs to Christina Grievin Cuomo, a New York editor and entrepreneur. She married Chris Cuomo, a CNN anchor and brother of Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, in 2001. The book lists Grievin Cuomo under a minor misspelling of her birth name, Christina Grievin. Her entry refers to Manhattan File, a New York society magazine she published after her father purchased it in 1994. The same entry includes an office address in the New York City neighborhood of Soho, an office phone number, and a home phone number. In the 90s, Grievin Cuomo was known for hanging out with socialites like Alex von Furstenberg and the former CNN producer Pamela Gross. The latter appears in both little black books. Yahoo reports that it's unclear why Grievin Cuomo is listed in the 1997 address book. She serves as the editor-in-chief of The Purist, a wellness website she founded in 2017. A message left with The Purist seeking comment from Grievin Cuomo was returned almost immediately by Chris Cuomo, who declined to comment for the record or make his spouse available. Grievin Cuomo is one of 221 people who appear in Epstein's 1997 address book, but not his previously published address book, which dates back to 2004. All right, well, we have the original Jeffrey Epstein Little Black Book. We have it. It's part of the super bundle. So if you're interested in getting that super, now it's not the one that Business Insider claims they have. They've uncovered an earlier, our address book that we have goes back to 2004. And you'll recall that, remember, Epstein served some slap on the wrist prison time for, being associated with underage girls back then. A copy of his Little Black Book was obtained at that point. We have a copy of it. We've made it part of the super bundle. So if you want to have that, we have it. This new one, I'm sure, will be published at some point, or maybe it won't be. It's up to Business Insider. I don't really like Business Insider. They're a very liberal publication, and they trash Trump, and they trash everything conservative and traditionalist in this country. Don't hold your breath on what and to see them actually going after, really one of their own in Chris Cuomo surprises me. But the fact that, but what doesn't surprise me is that Chris Cuomo is implicated in any of this, because he's got some very shady dealings in the past, some of which we've talked about before on this program. What can I say? What can I say? We'll find out. Let's see. St. Jude Children's. Any of you donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital? Do any of you give that organization any money? That's the hospital that, remember, Danny Thomas founded, and his daughter Marlo Thomas currently. I'm sure she's probably on the board of the hospital. I know that she advertises quite a bit for that organization. And But by all intents and purposes, all right, they do a lot of good things. I'm not trashing St. Jude Hospital for the work that they do. So please do not take it to mean that. But they are in my sights today for another reason. St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis has warned employees that if they refuse to get the COVID jab, they will be fired. According to a memo obtained by WMC, all staffers at the hospital were ordered to get the vaccine or face being sacked. Those who fail to start the vaccination process will be terminated at the end of the 2-week period, reads a letter written by St. Jude President James Downing. ToddStarnes.com reports supporters of the beloved hospital were stunned by the news. One person wrote on Facebook, I know of several people that will be stopping their contributions to St. Jude because of this decision, myself included. Is it too much to ask that a vaccine be FDA approved before required? Sad day, really. Here is a copy of the letter that St. Jude put out to its employees. St. Jude employees must be vaccinated against COVID-19 by September the 9th, barring a medical or religious exemption. The 8 weeks between now and then is meant to give employees time to schedule and complete the vaccination process. To ensure we meet the mandate, we are requiring that all St. Jude employees be vaccinated against COVID-19 by Thursday, September the 9th. We reached this decision after much research, analysis, and discussion. It is the right thing to keep our campus safe. Our duty to our patients frames everything we do. This is the logical next step to ensure we stay one step ahead of the virus. This time frame allows 8 weeks for all unvaccinated employees to schedule appointments and to receive either the single dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine or the 2 doses of the Pfizer, BioNTech, or Moderna vaccines. You must have your final dose scheduled and administered by the September 9th deadline. If you receive a COVID-19 vaccine outside of St. Jude, you must have the documentation to occupational health by the deadline date. In the coming days, I will provide details on the process to request a medical or religious exemption from vaccination. By September the 10th, employees who have refused vaccination or do not have an approved medical or religious exemption will be put on an unpaid administrative leave for 2 weeks. During this time, they have the opportunity to begin the vaccination process. Those who fail to start the vaccination process will be terminated at the end of the 2-week period. How do you feel about that? What do you think? Do you donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital? Is this going to affect your giving money to them? Or does it not matter? To me, it's a matter of principle. No one should be required to have a vaccine if they don't want it. It should not be mandatory. And I realize that so far, all the legal signals point to the fact that people don't stand a chance, that their employer does have the right to require these vaccines, and that HIPAA laws don't apply here. I'll be curious to see what happens to the employees who beg off due to medical or religious exemptions. One, if you're a Roman Catholic, you're probably not going to get an exemption from the Roman Catholic Church, and St. Jude is associated with the Roman Catholic Church, so people won't be able to use the Catholics won't have an excuse, right? Because the Pope himself has said, oh, so what if it's aborted fetal parts? So what? Jesus would want you to get the vaccine. Jesus would take the vaccine. Really? Yeah, I don't think so. Well, we'll see. Let's see. Thousands of French citizens rise up to reject Macron's vaccine passports. World Economic Forum unveils Orwellian global coalition of digital safety to censor independent media. Our good buddy Klaus Schwab. The World Economic Forum announced last month it is working with big tech and left-wing governments worldwide to censor opinions on the internet that it considers harmful. The WEF is a secretive globalist organization that wields enormous influence over the elected leaders of Western nations. Its members consist of elitist, internationalist corporate CEOs and the leaders of big tech companies who meet once a year in Davos with the goal of shaping global, regional, and industry agendas. Kind of like the Bilderberg Group, right? And Bohemian Grove. WorldViewWeekend.com reports it made a big splash last year with its highly touted Great Reset, which promises to use the pandemic as an opportunity to crash the world's dollar-based capitalist economic system and build back better under a more socialist and globally integrated system that mirrors the United Nations Agenda 2030 goals for sustainable development. Any politician you hear using the term build back better, right? Biden, Harris, Trudeau, Johnson, has drunk the poisonous Kool-Aid of the World Economic Forum and its founder, Klaus Schwab. Schwab's latest venture is the so-called Global Coalition for Digital Safety that consists of execs from big tech and government officials with the goal of creating a global framework for regulating speech on the internet, wiping it of so-called harmful content. Well, as you know, many of us have already been censored by platforms, Google, Facebook, Twitter. We got blown out of YouTube. Fine, screw them. We started our own platform. We're doing just fine. Thank you very much. And who gets to define what is harmful? That's a good question, right? Who gets to define what is harmful speech? Well, of course, it's the global coalition set up by the World Economic Forum. They're the purveyors of truth. They are the ones who are going to be the guardian of reality. They're the ones that are going to tell everybody what they can say and what they can't say, what people can find out and what they can't find out. The harmful content targeted by this global coalition for digital safety, you can bet, is going to be tailored to entrap those who stand for such things as, let's say, limited government, traditional values, individual freedom, religious freedom, and those of us who still believe in those things are going to be included in the WEF's definition of terrorists, hate mongers, extremists, and we will not be included in things such as inclusivity, equality, or diversity. You going to feel good about that? I don't want to be part of some inclusive group. No, I'm happy to be, you can get one of these. I had it for a while. I took it off. The little frame that you put around your picture on Facebook says I'm an extremist, especially since Facebook came out with this. And this is part of the world. This is part of Schwab's idea, right? They're asking people to report on their family members, their friends, their neighbors, who they suspect of being extremists. If you see something, say something, right? So a lot of people put these little frames around their Facebook picture that says, I'm an extremist or harmful extremist. How long will it be before the Facebook takes that down? Oh, it won't be too long, trust me. Let's see what else. The Global Coalition for Digital Safety is a public-private platform for global multi-stakeholder cooperation to develop innovations and advance collaborations that tackle harmful content and conduct online. That's what the WEF says on its website. Microsoft immediately announced it was on board with the WEF's plan to squelch free speech on the internet. Chief Digital Safety Officer for Microsoft, Courtney Gregoire, said Technology offers tools to learn, play, connect, and contribute to solving some of the world's greatest challenges. But digital safety harms remain a threat to these possibilities. As the World Economic Forum is uniquely positioned to accelerate the public-private collaboration needed to advance digital safety globally, Microsoft is eager to participate and help build whole-of-society solutions to this whole-of-society problem. Facebook also seems excited to get started and finding new ways to groom users to start thinking about turning in their friends for committing wrongthink. The social media giant has begun sending cryptic messages to some users that read as follows, quote, "Are you concerned that someone you know is becoming an extremist?" Yeah, some of you might have already seen that on your Facebook page. And of course, the regime currently in Washington right now is echoing this. They're embracing it with everything they have. They love it, right? Biden and his Attorney General Merrick Garland have taken every opportunity to talk about extremists on the right being the biggest threat to our democracy. This is a classic propaganda technique used to turn public sentiment against a targeted demographic. Now, who do we know that was famous for this, folks? The Nazis. Yeah, that's right. The Nazis. They used the media to blame all of Germany's problems on Jews before they actually started rounding them up and making them disappear. Now we're talking about FEMA camps here in the United States, rounding people up, putting them in detention camps. It's already happening in Canada. By Justin Trudeau, the son of Fidel Castro, and who is a communist sympathizer, loves it, loves the Chi-Coms, thinks they're great. Okay, all right. Well, how long before it comes here to the United States of America? Oh, are we going to allow it to happen? That's the question of the day. Will we allow it to occur? All right. So the next phase in this plan is to encourage Americans to turn each other in to the online thought police. What happens next after one has been reported to Facebook, Google, or Microsoft? They're going to turn those accused of thought crimes by their online friends and followers over to the politicized FBI, the same FBI that said they didn't have anything on Hunter Biden, and then they did. They don't have anything on Seth Rich, and then they do. This is how it works in China, folks, which is, of course, one of the biggest threats to the sovereignty of the United States of America that we face, okay? Man. Just incredible. Let's give some examples. Let's talk about this. China is a model being touted by those who support the Great Reset. And according to the WEF, with the growing challenge to counter health misinformation, of course, they're going to use COVID as the lead on this. Violent, extremist, and terrorist content, as well as health misinformation, and the exploitation of children online. Oh, they're really concerned about the children. They're really concerned about the children. Yeah. There is an urgent need for more deliberate global coordination to improve digital safety. The Global Coalition for Digital Safety aims to accelerate this public-private cooperation to tackle harmful content online and will serve to exchange best practices for new online safety regulation, take coordinated action to reduce the risk of online harms, and drive forward collaboration on programs to enhance digital media literacy. So if you follow that, the World Economic Forum is basically lumping spreaders of what they call health misinformation, anyone who's against mass vaccinations, anyone who's against this whole COVID thing, mandatory mask wearing, all that kind of stuff. They're lumping them in with violent extremists, terrorists, and child traffickers. Okay. All right. All right. Well, this is what's coming up, folks. It's going to get worse. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot more. And we will, of course, continue to follow it here on Dark Outpost. Okay. Now, coming up in just a few moments on the program, we're going to be joined by Peter Kirby. He's the author of the book Chemtrails Exposed, the New Manhattan Project. Okay, and we're going to continue our weekly conversation about the dangers of chemtrails and the effect that they have on our health, the effect that they're having on our environment with weather modification, the agendas behind all of this. It's been a fascinating conversation, and we're going to continue that conversation with Peter Kirby today. And then a little bit later on in the broadcast, Ginny Silcox makes a return visit. She was with us yesterday. We kind of had to abruptly end our conversation because she had just a little bit more that she wanted to bring to the table, but we had another guest coming up. We had to back her off. And rather than waiting an entire week to bring her back on to continue, I asked her to come back today, and she graciously agreed. So she will be back on in the final hour of the program today. Now, those of you that are watching this show live on Rumble right now, you're going to get the entire show. So stick around. It's going to be a great 3 hours remaining. And for those of you who miss the rest of the program today, rest assured the first hour of the program will be archived on Rumble and BitChute. But if you miss the remainder of the program and you want to see it in its entirety, well, you're going to have to become what we call a Dark Outpost Inner Circle member. What is the Dark Outpost Inner Circle? The Dark Outpost Inner Circle is, well, it's a streaming platform where we broadcast our show archived in its entirety, all 4 hours every day, plus some occasional special programming that you're just not going to get anyplace else. If you are not a member of the Dark Outpost Inner Circle, then you are missing some great content and some great topics that nobody else is talking about, topics that are censored by YouTube, topics like this. Just head on over to darkoutpost.tv. Sign up for a 1-year membership. 1 year. It's only $29.99 for a 1-year membership, and that gets you access to content that you are just not going to get any place else. All right? And then if you will do that, and then email me a copy of the receipt for that 1-year membership, email that to darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. That's darkoutpostdocuments@gmail.com. In return, we're going to send you back the Super Bundle. What is the Super Bundle? Well, the Super Bundle is a bundle of reports on the scourge of pedophilia and child sex trafficking taking place here in the United States and around the world. How to stop it, who's behind it. It is our most requested bit of information that we provide you here at Dark Outpost. It's profusely illustrated, thousands of hours worth of research, hundreds of pages worth of documents, profusely illustrated with links and trackbacks and all of the information you need to share with your family, your friends, your coworkers, anyone who will listen, your politicians as well. You know, a very credible reporter by the name of Liz Crokin has stated that, well, 2/3 of the people in Washington, D.C. are good people. They want to help kids. They're not involved in anything nefarious. But 1/3 of them, a third, are involved in pedophilia and child sex trafficking. How do we get these people and put them behind bars and do what we have to do? Well, you're not going to be disappointed because you'll have the information when you ask for the super bundle. All you have to do is put "send me the super bundle" in the subject line of the email when you send me that receipt for your 1-year subscription to darkoutpost.tv. Now, if you're still not convinced, let me tell you why this is important that you get this super bundle. Let me show you everything that you're going to get right here and right now. All right, so there you have it. Order the super bundle by going to darkoutpost.tv and signing up for that 1-year membership. It's worth it. All right, stand by, folks. Peter Kirby is coming up next, author of the book, Chemtrails Exposed, the new Manhattan Project. He'll be joining us in just a moment.